Wow, huge update today on the Tucker situation. I don't look at this as drama or gossip because Tucker is that influential of a voice, and I think he's that important. So I may be glib, but I actually take this pretty seriously, and I think it's important that he gets back on the air as soon as possible after he was shit-canned by Fox for being, the only anti-war and anti-establishment voice on cable news. That's exactly why they got rid of him. He's a threat to the corporate political establishment. I think that's obvious, but I think it needs to be said as a preface to this. Carlson's people are now leaking to Axios that Tucker is planning his own media campaign, not him personally, but his friends and things in the media. He's going to start trickling out leaks to them and organize a campaign to shame Fox into letting him out of his contract. Now, I had said before that I did not think that Fox would be able to silence Tucker with their contract, because they could pull him off the air, and if they keep paying him, they could keep him in his contract because they're not breaking his contract if they keep paying him. But I think what I said was I don't think that Tucker would have signed something that would have forced him, that would have allowed them to do that, because he just renewed his contract in 2021, and he knew then that Fox would have been ready to take him off the air at any time. He's told people this privately. So I did not think that Tucker would have signed something that would have allowed them to silence him. But apparently that's the case, based on what Axios is saying. And Tucker is going to try and get around that. And apparently Tucker's lawyer told Axios directly that nobody's going to silence Tucker, which I still firmly believe to be the case. But apparently, as the status quo right now is, they're going to pay Tucker $20 million a year to do nothing, to sit on his hands. And that contract doesn't expire until January 2025, so that's after the election. So Tucker would have to be sidelined until after the next presidential election, which is just completely untenable. So Tucker is going to launch a full-on war against Fox. I assume this is going to lead most of conservative media urging a boycott of Fox News. If this goes out over, talk radio, which has, the most overlap with Fox, talk radio and Fox News, a lot more overlap than, let's say, the online audience, the online right-wing media audience. The people who watch, let's say Tim Pool and Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro and, these online people, aren't necessarily the same people who listen to, Glenn Beck on the radio and watched, Fox News in the evening. But if you get all of the digital right-wing media, which is already, a competitor to Fox, and you get their symbiotic talk radio counterparts to back Tucker in a boycott against Fox, that could put enough pressure on Fox to relent and to release Tucker from his contract so that he could make a new deal with Axios being told, not surprisingly, that Rumble has approached him and apparently made an offer bigger than his $20 million a year that he's getting from Fox. And apparently Newsmax has also offered him more than the $20 million that he's getting from Fox, which is hard to believe. I don't know where Newsmax would get that kind of money. But anyway, Tucker definitely cannot make a contract with another media organization until he's out of his Fox contract. That I don't deny. But I still, what I said when I thought that Tucker could not be silenced, I don't think they can stop Tucker from just commentating on the news. And if he's already being paid $20 million by Fox to not have a Fox show, there's nothing stopping him from just recording his own show or doing live streams on YouTube at Rumble, without direct pay from that. I don't think they can stop him from using social media. They can't literally censor Tucker. I think that they can stop him from making a contract or from starting a rival organization. I'm sure there's that kind of official non-compete in there, but they can't stop him from just talking to people. I mean, that would be insane. So I think that Tucker is probably his best case scenario from his perspective is to get out of the contract and do whatever he wants, which this Axios article seems to think that he's leaning towards doing his own, direct-to-consumer model. And they also put, I mean, they kind of threw everything, all the spaghetti at the wall in this Axios article. They said, well, he talked to Elon Musk about working together. Who knows what that means? I mean, obviously he could put out a show on Twitter. People have been talking about how Elon is trialing a return to Periscope, so Tucker could live stream his show exclusively on Twitter every night. He could do an exclusive deal with Rumble, an exclusive deal with Newsmax. I think the Newsmax one is the least likely, because I think Tucker understands that cable is not the future, and so why try and build up a fledgling cable network, when you can go online and be where the future is. And he might think that he can make more money on his own than he could, partnering with Rumble. But frankly, I feel like Rumble has so much money that they're throwing out. I don't know necessarily that Rumble is a good investment. It seems to me like Rumble's throwing a lot of money out there. It might pay off, it might not. But if I were him, I would get, while the getting's good, I'd take that hot money from Rumble and, build myself up. And, in a few years, if Rumble collapses, he would have made all this money in that time, and then he can make his own platform at that point. But I think what Tucker might be thinking is that if he is a big enough personality, it's not like with Bill O'Reilly when he tried to do it. Bill O'Reilly's, there are people who subscribed to him online, but Bill O'Reilly's audience were, they were boomers and older, people who don't do the online subscription model that well. So he has a pretty small number of people who pay him. I guess it's enough for him to pay his bills, but he's not some superstar. Tucker, since he had a much younger audience and I think was bigger than Bill O'Reilly ever was, he would be much more successful at that, obviously. And so he may just want to be on his own and not be a part of a network so that he doesn't have to share profits with anybody. Now, personally, I hope he doesn't do that, because I'll be honest, I'm not going to subscribe to another thing. I personally, I think that the consumers are the ones who are losing the subscription wars, because there are just too many things to subscribe to. All these people who do, hey, I do an hour of a free show and then I do an hour behind a paywall. I don't pay the paywall for any of them. But hey, you know what? The few people that do, if that's enough to justify these people producing, the hour of free content, then hey, I'm happy for it. Thank you to the people who actually subscribe, but I'm not going to subscribe to Tucker. I don't know how many individual subscribers these sorts of people actually have, but after a bad breakup with Fox, I would think from Tucker's perspective, you would want as few controls on you as possible. And even if you have a contract that seems ironclad with somebody like Rumble that says you can say whatever you want, just come up here, show up, do your show, say whatever you like, and collect a check. Tucker still might say, you know what, I don't want to be tied down to anybody. I want to have no attachments. I'm just gonna do my thing, and I'll make money however I make money. Because at this point, he has FU money. He doesn't really need to do it for the money. So I'm excited to see what this campaign against Fox looks like. I guess we'll start to listen. You'll start to see hosts and things start bringing stuff up. Tucker is going to start leaking nasty things about Fox. And the implication will be that, if they keep making his life difficult, he's going to expose them for the meanies that they truly are. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.